Hello and welcome to Business Talk with me, Michael Avery, where we bring you the latest insights and opinions from the top leaders in the business world. And today's topic is all about the power of partnership and how it can lead to innovative solutions in the workplace. I'm delighted to be joined by three esteemed guests who've come together to create the Umoja App. It's a digital workplace tool designed to transform the way employees access information and engage with their workplace, which is rapidly changed, largely thanks to COVID. And our first guest is Andy Wilson, the lead partner for Digital CoX at Vodacom Business. He's got over 20 years of experience in the tech sector, driving digital innovation and transformation. Our second guest is Ndomba Tshiendela, who is the commercial director at Kamato Copper Company. He's got over decades of experience in the mining industry and has played a key role in the development of the Umoja App. And then finally, we have Jonathan Lamb, who's the head of platform business for corporate and investment banking at Standard Bank. And he's been a key partner in this Umoja project, providing critical insights and expertise to bring the project to fruition. And together, these three leaders have created a groundbreaking solution that empowers employees to access critical information, to stay informed about their health and safety, and also critically to engage with their workplace like never before. So without further ado, let's dive into our discussion about the Umoja App and the power of partnership. Welcome all. Andy, maybe you could just kick us off. Can you just provide a brief explanation of what the Umoja App is, including the main features that benefit Kamato Copper Company?
Yeah, thank you very much, Michael. I think essentially the Umoja App is really about three things. So the first thing is it's about access. So we had to roll out around about 6,500 smartphones to the KCC effectively blue collar employee base. So they're now all armed with a smartphone. The second thing is around connectivity. So we obviously needed to connect them up, give them SIM cards, make sure, and they've got a very healthy bundle of data thanks to KCC. And we as Vodacom had to invest in the network in the town in which they operate and on the mine, which is around a place called Kolwezi in the DRC. And then the third is the utility. So really what the Umoja App is about employee engagement for blue collar workers. And within that employee engagement app, which is powered by actually a Cape Town based fintech called WiseTalk, we've taken a bunch of functionality, minimum value proposition to them. It's centered around communication. So there's communication, straight to that blue collar work, from, corporate messages, health and safety, various things like that. The second sort of major component and bucket is around HR information, so they can see their pay slips, they can see shifts, schedules, that kinds of things. They can engage. There's FAQs, those sorts of things that come through. And clearly, with these platforms in place, this is just the start where you can use these three things together. You can use other app functionality to really change operational processes, engagement with really a part of the population that was digitally excluded before. They now are brought into the digital world.
And that's really what stands out for me initially, Andy, is that often when we talk about the benefits of digital transformation, we look at Africa, we look at the infrastructure deficits and the remoteness of some of these locations, and we think, well, isn't this actually going to deepen digital divides and digital inequality? But here's a solution that shows you, in fact, it can help you leapfrog. And Ndomba, just bringing it into the real challenges that you were facing as Kamato Copper Company, what forced you or caused you to look for a solution like the Umoja App?
Well, Michael, thanks for inviting us. When you have over 6,000 full-time employees, you can have as many town halls that you want, but timelessly driving messages to employees using emails and internet, it doesn't become easy because our frontline workers, not all of them have laptops. So it then became evident that we needed to find a solution that could open a two-way engagement, communication, whereby we could reach our employees and our employee reaching up to management, be able to engage openly and timelessly. So Umoja then became that solution that will have then allowed us to be able to harness the culture of an open engagement, as well as our safety, which is so much becoming enshrined in the way we do business here. So we needed to ensure that they're able to access training, access various other announcements that we're driving in the business.
It almost addresses, and I know the big buzzword, having recently attended mining in Ndomba in Cape Town, all three components of ESG, and there was almost, ESG all over the place, almost every session. But if you look at the social, if you look at the governance aspects, and I'm sure there's an environmental impact as well by ensuring that we're doing these things digitally. And how did this partnership between yourselves at Kamato Copper Company and Standard Bank and Vodacom Business come into fruition?
Well, the partnership came into fruition about just more than a year ago. Yes, we're talking about ESG and how that played at the mining in Ndomba. Both the two presidents that announced that spoke to the audience on Tuesday highlighted the importance of stakeholders and the community. Employees are very much important stakeholders in our business. We are a labor-intensive business. Looking after the well-being of our employees and understanding them and engaging with their concern becomes very much critical and an integral part of that ESG responsibility that we have. The relationship with the Vodacom and Standard Bank, about a year ago, we started engaging, brainstorming, based on needs that we expressed and based on solution that Standard Bank had, the One Hub solution, which Jonathan will be able to talk about more deeply. It took a while. It took a lot of brainstorming, meeting Jonathan, Andy, Vodacom team, the Standard Bank team coming up to Kinshasa, to Kolwezi, us, our team going to Joburg, engaging with them to be able to come up with this wonderful solution. So it's been employees, end users, both at KCC, our IT department, as well as key personnel from Standard Bank and Vodacom were party to this solution. So it's very much a bottom-up solution, which has not been imposed, but been harnessed from within the three organizations.
And why, as I said in my introduction, it looks so much like the ideal partnership approach to tackling these problems. Jonathan, from your vantage point at the bank, I know often everyone rather cynically calls bankers fair weather bankers because you're only around when you don't need you. But here's an example of a bank going above and beyond just being a financial partner.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. This story really is one of three stars aligning at the right time. We, as the bank, have had a deep relationship with Glencore and the KCC team for many years, but as you say, for traditional financial products only. We've also had a relationship with Vodacom for a while. They're a client of ours. We're a client of theirs. We've also been talking to Vodacom, at a fairly strategic level around exploring opportunities to co-create things for common clients. I mean, it's no big secret that telcos and banks compete in some respects, but there's definitely also, other domains where it does make sense to bring together common data, IP, and access to market. So the team that I'm a part of in the bank, our only focus now is really to try and find these non-traditional, these non-fair weather, complex problems that we can help solve for with partnership to make a real impact to meaningful problem statements in our client's environment. And so really, when I met Ndomba and the Glencore team and took them through this way of thinking and this new sort of approach that we're taking, that's when the stars really started to align. The fact that we had these two independent discussions happening and the fact that we could then connect the dots really was the start of what's now ended up as this Umoja partnership.
Andy, from your perspective at Vodacom, was it a kind of seamless fit and one of those that you just immediately jumped at, or did you have to be persuaded?
No, Michael, I mean, effectively, I represent the bit of Vodacom business that really is trying to amplify our digital voice with our enterprise customers. And we're an ecosystem of companies. We've got our own version of fintechs. We own, big stakes in organizations like IoT.next, etc. So it was very clear to me that, banks are also on a journey in terms of, especially in the enterprise space, especially also through this platform business that Jonathan is looking after. And we got together with various parts of Standard Bank, and we actually figured out that the mining industry was the right industry to target together. Clearly, there's a commodity boom, and there's all sorts of technologies that effectively will help with their transformation. The interesting bit is when Standard Bank actually brought the miner into the room, and we started with a blank piece of paper, and we started really engaging and listening and understanding their pains. The use cases that came out were not what we envisaged. We saw the trucks going down the highways from the DRC. You can't drive to Durban without passing convoys of the finished copper and cobalt. We thought it was something to do with, tracking them and, that kind of stuff. But when employee engagement came up, it really made sense. Post-COVID world, you think about the impact of those people that couldn't hop onto platforms like this. Their management never pitched up, and effectively, the time was right. And so we hit the sweet spot. Willing partners, willing clients, had the right value proposition, and we were able to execute, which is amazing. By the way, Umoja means unity. So I don't know. There's unity in this partnership. It's a Swahili word, and it's to do with unity, and that's what it's all about.
But you had to overcome a significant challenge there, Andy, in the fact that, I think mobile apps obviously a great way to improve this bond between employers and employees, and it cuts through all of those traditional barriers. But you obviously have to have a smartphone and you have to have data. And I think previously, that's been a big barrier in terms of rolling out these kinds of project solutions in Africa. So how did you navigate this obstacle?
That was actually very easy. KCC and Glencore had the foresight to overcome that. So they effectively have purchased a really good spec smartphone for each employee, and then effectively purchased a data contract. It's around about 8.5 gigabytes of data per month per employee, which is significant. So as Vodacom, that also enabled us to invest in the network in the town and on the mine, which we've done to make sure that, connectivity. This is one of the fastest growing probably towns or cities in Africa. So the network has to be invested in all the time. But effectively, we had to also provide solutions like power solutions, which is very relevant in today's world here down south. So, the whole bundle came with solar chargers and screen protectors and the like. But effectively, it was provided by the employee, and we were able to obviously match that with a great deal.
And then Ndomba, just to bring you in on that point, I mean, obviously for you as the employer, it's about supporting your employees by providing access to solutions like HR self-servicing and employee feedback. How has this been received so far?
Well, it's been well received, very much positive, both within our employees, our workforce, and our community. Why? Because the employee has a cell phone device with a solar charger that is able to take home. Office work, he's able to do homework research for his child at home. So we've digitalized the home now. And then at work, the employee is able to, when not working, obviously, within the confines of our safety protocols, is able to access work-based forums and stuff like that. But as far as HR is concerned, inquiries that employees, over 6,000 employees, will have made in the past, queuing at the HR office, are now being done electronically. From his phone, he's able to access his pay slip, able to inquire on his overtime, able to inquire on his leave or apply for his leave and things like that. So it becomes very easy for HR to address other cosmetic things in a much better way, responding to employees' needs and expectations rather than just dealing with paperwork, pushing paperwork left and right. So we've cut the paperwork out, obviously contributing to the environment. And again, another element is we by harnessing the solar energy to charge the phone, again, we are contributing positively to our environment, producing cobalt, which is one of the most important resources in renewable energy, for which we are proud of, to be able to produce responsibly and improve and modernize our way of life here on Earth. We now doing so also putting the same device in our employees' hands. And that cobalt and copper is produced using hydro energy. So you can see how it all fits into this green energy. So it's well received across the platform. I think our shareholders as well will be very much pleased with this innovation.
Well, that's definitely the E that I was looking for earlier as well. And John, obviously the app leverages your OneHub platform that you developed at Standard Bank. Can you just explain and remind viewers what this OneHub app is? Because it's an extremely powerful ecosystem, and how it helped develop the Umoja app from a content perspective.
Yeah, so Michael, OneHub is very much a platform business now. You know, it's often referred to as a technology platform, but it's actually an entire platform business wrapped around a technology platform. And it's really the capability that we're using to target these type of opportunities, you know, making an impactful difference with something like Umoja to a big miner's ESG strategy is exactly the type of non-traditional thing that we've structured the OneHub team and capability to look for. So, I mean, there is a platform at its core. We use that platform to find partners like Vodacom, bring them in both in a commercial manner as well as technically. So we can put their APIs, their front-end capability onto our platform. We don't white label it, so it shows up as Vodacom, as well as all the other partners we've done some deals with. And then on the other side, we use the same platform to bring in our clients. We bring the problems in, we then co-create the solutions. And so really for this particular project for Umoja, there were three things that OneHub helped us with. The commercials on both sides. We used the rails that we've created to sign up Vodacom, become a global partner of theirs, then becoming a OneHub partner. We used the same mechanism to work with the KCC team to get the commercials right and the contracting right, which is often not the sexiest part of a solution, but it's incredibly important in a big B2B environment. And then from a software point of view, you know, Umoja is a couple of components plugged together. It's not just one technology solution. And so we used the OneHub API environment to allow the different vendors to plug those solutions together. And then the last engagement point is really the B2B piece, is, you know, Ndomba's team on the ground in the country, the communications team, the HR team that are in the offices, that are managing the front line, log into OneHub to get access to that almost administration part of the Umoja app. So it's quite an encompassing sort of package solution, and we really use the OneHub, let's call it process and methodology to help us achieve what we've achieved.
Well, it's proof of this kind of iterative process that I think Silicon Valley has become so renowned for. You've developed something very quickly, you've got the minimum viable product going, and now it's successfully being rolled out among 6,000 employees in a fast-growing town in the DRC. What are your expectations, John, now that you've done all of that, for the rollout of the Umoja app moving forward?
So I think with regards to Umoja and our Glencore engagements, we've done the first assets, we've done KCC, quite successful, but we haven't finished. We've still got to do the other mine in the country, Mumi. So that's next and top priority. We need to do exactly the same thing there. Still Umoja, slightly different content, but same principles, frontline worker engagement. And then, you know, if I reflect back to the first couple of workshops we had with Ndomba and his team, we actually came up with a list of like 20 use cases, right? So the excitement in the room grew and grew over the week that we spent together. And the more ideas came out, you know, the more people got excited around the potential of this thing. And this was before it had even been rolled out. Yeah. We obviously had to, as you say, contain that into an MVP. You've got to get started. You've got to get it out there. And so we picked three of those 20. There's the other 17 still that we need to now reevaluate. And in fact, rather than just sitting in a room again like we did last time and looking at the next 17 or coming up with another 10, we've now got the opportunity to actually engage those frontline staff and see what they want, which is something that didn't exist before. So I see a roadmap evolving with both mines based on now a combination of feedback plus the need of the organization. And I really see this as a partnership. This is going to be something that hopefully we grow incrementally over a long period of time with Vodacom and the two mines in country.
Power of platform economics and platform business models. And I can see a range of use cases, as you were saying, from financial inclusion to providing, greater health and wellness benefits, all of that rolled into what platform economics offers us. Thank you very much to all of you, Jonathan Lamb, Andy Wilson, and Ndomba Tshiendela, who share a deep passion and unity of purpose around the Umoja app, a great example of the power of collaboration and how it can drive innovation in the business world. We certainly hope the discussion has provided valuable insights to you, our viewers, and inspired a few new ideas for how we can create positive change, even in the most remote locations in Africa. Stay tuned for more exciting episodes of Business Talk with me, Michael Avery, exclusively on businesstech.co.za.